we will get him.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. My guest today is Tiffany Wilkerson. She is a Pcrm cooking instructor, and she likes to invite plants at every meal, and she's going to show us some really incredible mason jar prep, which is going to make it so easy for you guys to get healthy food in your belly as soon as possible. Please welcome Tiffany. It's so nice to meet you. I so appreciate you because I see you watching my show. I see that. I see your name.
I'm a fan of the show. Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday.
Great. I'd love to hear your story because everybody, unless you're born vegan, I think everybody has a story about how and when and why they became vegan or plant-based.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to share my story, and thank you for allowing me to be here. So no, I didn't make the transition until in my 30s. So my story is my transition stemmed from losing someone very close to me, and that was my grandmother. We lost her to stage 4 colon cancer. By the time we found out it was stage 4, and we were extremely close. We were best buds. So that was a very difficult time. But I am thankful that once we got the diagnosis that I was able to spend even more time with her. And the last time that I was able to visit her before she passed, she was just quiet and sleeping kind of in and out at that point. And I was looking at her, the room was just silent. And there was a message that dropped into my heart that said, Tiffany, you need to change how you're living nutritionally. And I did. Overnight, the next day. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it was something that I just had to figure out, and I did.
That's amazing. But how did you know what to change to? And how long ago was that?
That was 11 years. Yeah, that's been 11 years now. So I didn't know what to do. So first thing I did was I started off pescatarian. So for me, that meant, okay, change how you eat. Well, I'm from Texas, right? So we eat a lot of meat. We eat meat 3-4 times a day. We like our steaks and chicken and all of that. And so that's what spoke to me about what I needed to change. So that meant to get rid of most of the meat that I've eaten since I was young. And so I started off pescatarian for a while and then transitioned into whole food plant-based. The struggle for me in the beginning was I didn't know anything about the lifestyle, right? So all I knew was that I needed to give up what I was eating, and that was excessive meat. I didn't know anybody who lived that lifestyle. I didn't know anybody who knew anybody that lived that lifestyle. So I just kind of had to dig in and learn it for myself. And I really enjoyed it. It's a whole nother ball game that I was never made aware of. And I just kept going because that information is so addictive, right? Once you start learning about plants and nutrition and all of these wonderful capabilities that it can do and how it can change your life. And so I just kept going with it. And it's been 11 years and I'm never gonna look back, and I'm still having fun with it. It is a lot of fun being whole food plant-based. People are missing out. It's a party.
Well, you look amazing. How hard or easy is it to do in Texas?
It's pretty difficult. It's difficult because we grill a lot. In Texas, we grill for no real reason. We grill for holidays. We grill just because it's a Wednesday. So, it was a little tricky, but it was possible. It was possible.
Wow. Is your family plant-based with you?
They are. So my husband is, and we have 2 kiddos. I've got 2 teenagers, a boy and a girl, 17 and 15, and we all are. So and they were brought on gradually.
Yeah, because 17 and 15 minus 11, they were 6 and 4.
4, yes. Yeah, they were little. So it was an awesome thing because their transition was kind of like a gradual process through the years. Because first of all, I didn't know what I was doing. So I wanted to make sure, I had my information and foundation down. And then as I began to learn about the lifestyle and the eating and things like that, then I would just kind of slowly apply it to the household. So little by little. So it was more so of a gradual process and transition for them, but it's more natural for them. I didn't want to just bombard them all at once with this new eating. I really wanted to make it a gradual thing. And we talked about it and, there's reasoning as to why we're eating this way. I really wanted them to understand that. And so that's kind of what I kept doing. And so here we are, we're all plant-based.
Do they remember eating differently?
No, I don't think so. No.
Wow. So they're happy with the way they eat now.
They are happy with the way they eat. So I was wondering what that would look like as, they became teenagers and with their friends, but they're pretty secure in their foundation. So I'm proud of them.
But I imagine in Texas, do they have anybody that eats like them, either friends or family other than the immediate family?
No, just us. Trying to think. I don't think they have any friends. Let me see, there might be a friend or two that's vegetarian. But as far as plant-based, no, they're just kind of on their own on that one.
Wow. I mean, good for them, because sometimes peer pressure and things like that, they might want to deviate from the course.
Yeah, they're pretty strong in their foundation. It's funny, their friends, as they find out, most of them know now, but their friends have all really been, pleasant about it. I think there was never any teasing or anything like that, where they were just worried about, oh my gosh, you can't eat pizza anymore. Oh my gosh, you can't eat a hot dog or things like that. That was more so their response when they found out that they were plant-based. But my kiddos have a pretty good bounce back for that, and it's working. So fingers crossed. And it was important for me to build the foundation so that when they leave, go off to college and young adulthood and all of that, that their foundation and their core will keep them where they need to be in their nutrition.
Right. Because I hear from so many people that they just can't get their families to eat healthy. How'd you get your husband on board?
Well, I had to take what he liked and veganize it, which is kind of really what I did for most of what we ate. So his thing was, as long as it tastes good, I'm okay. So he wasn't quite interested in the beginning. He was always supportive, but he wasn't quite interested in trying it in the beginning. But as I started taking some of his favorites and just veganizing it and made sure it tastes good, it was okay for him. And then I had to share the nutrition part with him because he's a math science guy. So it really has to make sense for him. And he likes the science and how the body works. And so once he really began to learn about that part of it, it was easier to bring him on board. So it worked.
Do you guys ever watch documentaries together as a family?
We do. And the first documentary that really changed his mind or really got him to rethink was Game Changers. That was the first one for him. I had seen many before that, but for him, Game Changers really awakened him a little bit. And so that was a great one.
Terrific. That's great.
Yeah.
So you also are a Pcrm cooking instructor. When did that happen?
I am. So we're going on, I think, 2 or 3 years, and I enjoy it. We're a very close-knit group, and we all have the same passion. And so we'll share recipes and great conversation. So it's nice to be around like-minded individuals that are just as passionate about healthy eating and living as you are. So we're a really good bunch.
Do you teach the class? I mean, I know there's a pandemic now, but before that, were you teaching them in person in Texas?
Well, I actually graduated from the class right before the pandemic hit. So right when our class graduated, COVID hit maybe a month later. So I never got to teach in person, but virtually, yes. And so I am hoping one day when things a little bit better, I can be in person. But right now it's virtual.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who takes your classes? How do you get the people? Like, if people watching today are interested, could they take them?
You can. Actually, I'm getting ready to teach a course. It's going to start January 22nd, 23rd, that Sunday. And it's a 21-day vegan Kickstart course. And the curriculum is created by Dr. Neil Barnard and others. And it's fantastic. It's really a great way to immerse yourself into vegan eating for 21 days. And so we'll meet on Sundays. You'll hear information from Dr. Barnard. There's recipes. We're going to be cooking together. It's a really, really great course to take if you're ever curious about what it's like. So you can actually sign up for that on my website. It's www.inviteplantstoeverymeal.com. And you'll see a tab there that says cooking courses. And you'll click on that and keep going from there. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's my favorite one.
Nice. I'll put that in the show notes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're going to make something for us today. Actually, you're going to teach us a system.
I have something up my sleeves. So yes. So I am going to, and thank you again, Chef AJ, for the opportunity. It is a pleasure.
Yeah.
So
well, this is perfect because yesterday's show was about organization, and I feel like this just is a perfect segue.
I saw that, and I signed up for the challenge for $1. So I'm excited because I have a couple of things that I do need to organize. So yesterday's show was perfect timing for me.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So mason jar meals, they are a lot of fun. They are a fun way to just kind of do something different with your meals. And they're super convenient. They're easy, excellent for meal prep. They present well, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and you'll have a lot of fun. All right. So couple of meal jar prep 101, okay, that I want to get out of the way. So a couple of things. When you choose your jars, it really doesn't matter about the brand. I more so, because I've used different brands and they all work for me, so I wouldn't worry about that. But what I would recommend is that, and this is a quart size, but what I would recommend when you choose your jars is a wide mouth jar, okay? Because that's gonna allow you to get in there and kind of move your food around so that it layers evenly. You don't have to, you can use a regular mouth, but I do find that the wide mouth is a little bit more convenient, okay? All right, so the next thing is this. So of course there are different sizes of meal jars, of meal prep jars, or mason jars. My rule of thumb is select a mason jar, like when you're putting your meals together, select a mason jar that's reflective of your appetite for that meal, if that makes sense. Like for example, I'm not a big breakfast eater, so I'll choose a smaller mason jar. I'm not going to use this size. I'll use a smaller one, like if I'm going to do like an overnight oats, right? Compared to lunchtime, which is my biggest meal of the day, and I love a huge salad. So I will opt for the larger jar size. And I normally do about 2 or 3 of those because I like a big salad. But just kind of keep that in mind as you're prepping your meals. All right, and so the next thing that you'll want to use that I find a great tool is a funnel, right? And we'll use this as we put our salads together today. And this is just a canning funnel. I think I ordered this off of Amazon, maybe $10 or something like that. But it helps as you're layering your food. It helps everything layer evenly and it's less mess. Now you don't have to use this, but it is a little bit easier. Okay, and I think the last thing I want to share is liquids when you're putting your mason jars together. Now, in most cases, you're probably going to make a meal that has some sort of sauce in it or dressing or something like that, like when we do our salad here in just a minute. But rule of thumb, 9 times out of 10, you always want the first ingredient you want in your jar is your liquid, okay? And then you want to layer from the wettest ingredients to your driest, and you want to end with your driest ingredient on top. So for example, when we do our salad, we're going to put our salad dressing in here first, layer our ingredients, and then we're going to end with spinach or arugula or whatever greens that we're using, okay? And then we're going to seal it up and refrigerate it. And these last, typically, any of these meals last for about 4 to 5 days. I wouldn't go past that. But 4 to 5 days, just keep it in the fridge. I keep mine way in the back of our fridge because it gets nice and cold back there. And you're pretty good to go. And then when you're ready to eat your salad, just make sure that you shake it up so that your dressing or your salsa or whatever liquid that you put in there is over everything. And then you are ready to go eat. So that's 101. You got it.
And I think just seeing beautiful plants in your fridge, it's just so enticing.
It is. And, we eat with our eyes, Chef AJ. So, good looking food is half the battle. And so that's a big deal if it presents well.
Absolutely. Well, you present very well.
Wow. Thank you for that. Okay, first meal, we got to start off with breakfast. All right, so here we go. Okie dokie. All right, so we are going to do, well, actually, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and then we'll start with the breakfast. So we're going to do 3 of my favorite recipes. So one is breakfast burrito in a jar. The second one we're going to make is smoky barbecue salad in a jar, and it is smoky. And then we're going to change it up on the last one. We're going to do sushi in a jar. Yes, it's possible.
That sounds amazing.
It's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's start with breakfast. Okay. All righty, so here are the ingredients. Okay, I want to go over those first. So we have salsa, okay, and we have our black beans. Now, I seasoned these earlier with some cumin, and so it's really, really good. We have some roasted sweet potatoes. I made a big batch and roasted those in the oven. We have some red bell peppers. And we have some green onions. Now, just like with any type of plant-based cooking, you can make this your own. Now, this is what I like in my breakfast burrito, but if you want to add some cilantro, that would be fantastic. Or maybe you're not a fan of black beans, you could use a pinto bean. You can just play with it. But basically, it's an easy thought. Whatever you would wrap in your burrito, just put it in your mason jar. Super simple. And then the last ingredient I want to show you that we're going to work with first is a corn tortilla. Now this, and you only need one. Now this corn tortilla right here, we're going to cut it up in strips, okay? And then we're going to put it in our oven. It's going to be on 350 for about 7 minutes or so. Just kind of watch it. But once we're done, they turn into strips, okay, that you're going to put on top. This is it right here, that you're going to put at the very top of your mason jar when you're done. And you'll see that in just a second. So I'm going to show you how to pull this together. Okay. So we have our one tortilla. And then I just use a pizza cutter, right? And you can cut the strips however, whatever length and size you want, as long as you try to cut them as evenly as possible so they can cook evenly. Okay. All right. So that's all you're going to do. And then after that, you're going to put these strips on your seal pat or your baking sheet, like so. And then what I like to do at this point, I like to brush it with a little bit of lime juice. You can use lemon, you can use whatever veggie broth. I like lime because I think it gives a really, really good flavor. This is about maybe the juice of half a lime. And I brush it on there. You can go as thick as you want. Okay, like that. And then I want you to sprinkle whatever your favorite spice or seasoning is. Now, I'm a huge smoked paprika fan, so I'm going to sprinkle it with a little smoked paprika, okay? And then these are gonna go in the oven, like I said, on 350 for about 7 minutes or so. Watch it because they can cook pretty quickly, all right? And so that's the first thing you'll want to do with as you start this recipe. And so as you take your tortillas out and they cool, you can go ahead and put your mason jar together in the meantime. All right, so remember, first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and get this constructed. First thing you want to do is add your liquid. So in this case, it's going to be our salsa. Now, you can kind of play around with it, right? So some people like a lot of salsa, some people like just a little bit. You can play around with it and eyeball it. If you just want to know an amount to kind of maybe start, try half a cup and see what you think. So I'm going to do our salsa. This is a good chunky salsa, which I love. And you can have a lot of fun with your salsa because one time I made I think I did pineapple salsa. So that was really, really good in the jar. Okay, after that, we're going to layer in our beans. These are black beans. Remember, you can go with any kind that you want. There's no wrong answer here. This just happens to be my favorite.
Do you make your own
Right.
salsa or do you buy it?
I do a little bit of both. Depends on what kind of time I'm in, but I like it best when I make it, of course. Okay, all right. So the next thing we're gonna do is add roasted sweet potato. You could do a roasted sweet potato. Japanese sweet potatoes are actually my favorite. You can't go wrong. Or just a regular russet or Yukon potato. That looks good. All right, and then we're going to put in our red bell peppers. You can use green, it's completely up to you. But I hope you see how the funnel is keeping everything lined up pretty easily as we pour it in. Okay, and then we're going to add in our green onions, like so. I'm telling you, these colors, they present so well.
No, it's so beautiful. When you think about what meat, the color of meat, and it's not very pretty.
No, our meals did not look like this when I was eating the standard American diet. It just did not. I just remember a lot of brown. It did not have this much color at all. So, all right, this is our salad. And so now here's where our tortilla chips come into play. Okay, so you'll just take them, crisp this on top. Now, the point of this is if you were eating like a breakfast burrito in hand, these are going to actually take the place of the corn tortilla as if it were holding your burrito together. So you can put as much as you want on there. And nice and crispy. And that is it. You have your breakfast burrito in a jar. Super, super simple. And so you would go ahead and seal it up, put it in the fridge. And this is really, really good to meal prep Monday through Friday. You have a good 4 or 5 days with this one. And that's it for this one.
And do you like make one for every member of your family? How does that work?
Yes, I have a lot of mason jars. so
like how many of each recipe do you normally make when you're making a recipe?
So you'll do about 2, depends on what I'm making, but about 2 jars. And this is when I want to be really fancy. But yeah, about 2 jars per meal per person. That's going to give us pretty good variety.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. We're going on to the next one.
And you can.
And I always like how
mason jars at Costco, like really inexpensively.
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely. They are. You can get them anywhere, and they're much more reasonable than they used to be. I kind of feel like they used to be more expensive, maybe 5, 6 years ago, but I think they're more reasonable now.
You see them everywhere, Walmart, everywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so the next one that we're going to do is, this one is the Smoky barbecue salad. All right, so I want to go over the ingredients for the dressing first because I want us to make that together. And then
one second, Tiffany. Suzanne is saying if you wouldn't mind holding up the jar a little bit closer to the screen and holding it there because she would like to see it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Is that pretty good? These are awesome.
It looks amazing. And then she's asking, does the person eat it from the jar or do they dump it into a bowl or a plate?
That's completely up to you. I like eating it out of the jar once I shake it up and get it ready, but you can do either or. You really can. It's kind of fun to eat it out of the jar. It's different.
Elisa says, so happy that your entire family is plant-based. You must be a proud mama.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you. It's a lot of people out there that helped me get here for resources and things like that. So I'm grateful for the resources. That's for sure. All right. So we are doing our smoky barbecue salad in a jar. And the first thing I want us to do together is to make the dressing. And it's super, super simple, promise you. Okay. Now, here are the ingredients for the dressing that we're going to put in our processor. So we're going to use some garbanzo beans. We have some barbecue sauce. We have some tahini. We have a couple of cloves of garlic. And of course, we have my smoked paprika, because that's my favorite. And we have some chili powder. Okay. And I have a little bit of lime. Actually, that's a little bit of lemon juice that we're going to put in there. All right, and this is super simple, and I promise you, once you taste this, it's going to have a really, really good smoky flavor. So we're going to put in our garbanzo beans. Okay. And I think garbanzo beans are my favorite. What about you, Chef AJ? Do you have a favorite bean?
Those were probably mine too. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're just so good.
Oh yeah. So that's my favorite. But it's funny. Before I transitioned, I never had garbanzo beans. Like never, ever, ever. There's so many foods I never tried when I was eating the standard American diet that I now love, and I didn't even know they existed. So garbanzo beans was one. I knew it existed, but I never was interested in them. But now it's my favorite. All right, so we put in our garbanzo beans. We're going to put in our couple cloves of garlic. And there, which I love garlic. I always add more than I probably should than what the recipe calls for. All right, we have our smoked paprika and our chili powder. Okay, and we have some tahini, which is really, really good. Yeah. Okay, and then of course we have to have our barbecue sauce. Now, my favorite one to use is Well Your World, Dylan. Worse, Dylan could, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of his products. So, but you want to get a good, clean barbecue sauce. I would recommend, well, the one I use is Well Your World. So you want to get one clean, just as clean as that, if you can find one. All right. And then a little bit of lemon juice. Okay. And then this right here is aquafaba. And of course, that's the liquid that's left in the can when you're of your garbanzo beans. And you want to use this to get to the consistency of salad dressing that you like, right? So if you want a thick salad dressing, then just play around with it with the liquid. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Let's see. And that. All right, so that's going pretty good. You always want to open it up, kind of move it around a little bit. So I would let this blend a little bit longer, but for sake of time, we'll stop there. But I just wanted you to see how easy it was to make your own salad dressing for this recipe. So I will finish that up later. But here's what it looks like, okay? Because I made a batch for us ahead of time. But here is what it looks like when it's finished. Now, this is the consistency that I like, but feel free to kind of make it your own. But it's nice and creamy, and it's a winner. Now, if you wanted to kick the smoke flavor up even a little bit more, some people will put in a liquid smoke. But this smoked paprika really does the trick. So you may not need it, but it is an option. Okay, so here we go. We have got, ready? And of course we have our funnel. And so here is our salad dressing. And I like a lot of salad dressing. It's funny, when I was eating the standard American diet, I loved a good ranch dressing. And so I have to give a little shout out to a good friend of mine, Tammy with Nutmeg Notebook. She has the best vegan ranch dressing recipe I've ever had. So
not yet. You haven't tasted mine that comes out next week.
Oh, really?
It's actually not mine. It's Nan Simonson's from Aging Powerfully. And I don't know. This is knocking my socks off, this one that I'm going to be putting next week. It's not my recipe, but it is the best ranch dressing I've ever tasted in my life.
I'm intrigued. Okay.
Yeah, and it's very low in fat, and it doesn't have any nuts, which is fantastic for me. So yeah, it's got like, I don't want to say a secret ingredient, but it's got an ingredient that a lot of people don't know about that is just like makes it, I don't know. It's like, it's so good. But
interesting. I'm up for the challenge. I want to taste that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll be on next week's Weight Loss Wednesday. I just tasted it. She brought it to New Year's Eve as a dip. And I generally shy away from ranch because it's usually made with cashews and tofu I'm allergic to. And it didn't have any of that in it. And the only thing, she put salt in hers, but I found a way to work around that and not put it. And I'll tell you, I've been drinking this stuff. It's so good.
Okay, now I have to get my hands on it.
Yeah, because is Tammy's made with beans?
Tofu.
Yeah, see, I'm allergic to tofu. So even if it is the best, it can't be the best for me. This one, with my favorite ingredient, potatoes.
With potatoes.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm very intrigued. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope we can all taste that soon. I have
you just
want to taste
next one. You can taste it next Wednesday because I haven't shot the video yet. So yeah.
Okay, I'll be on the lookout. Okay, so we have our salad dressing in the bottom, and so now we're going to go ahead and put in our quinoa, which this was another. This is really bad. I think I have a long list of foods that I never tried when I was eating standard American diet. Quinoa was one of them, another one of them. And now I love it. It's like the foods I never had when I was eating standard American diet. Now they're my staples. It's just awesome how that works out, honestly. All right, and then we're going to layer in our beans. Again, choose whatever bean that you like. And it's funny, today is National Bean Day. I think I read that somewhere. I think today is National Bean Day.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was one, but I think today's the day. Okay, and then we're gonna put in our onions, or red onions. Now you can use any kind of onion that you like, a sweet onion. It's up to you. And some tomatoes. I'm telling you, putting mason jar meals, it's just a work of art. You have a lot of fun. You can't mess it up. And you're pretty proud of yourself once it's done because it looks beautiful. Okay. And then of course, we're going to top it with our driest ingredient, which is going to be spinach right here. Just like that. Okay. And this is what you have. This is your smoky barbecue salad. Yep.
This should be a restaurant where we could just grab a jar like that. It's beautiful.
That's a good idea. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. So you'll just put your lid on it, screw it tightly, keep it refrigerated. And before you eat it, go ahead and shake it up so this dressing can move around and dig in. All right, now we're moving to our third one, which is sushi in a jar, which I'm a huge sushi fan. I don't really eat it as much as I used to, but this recipe works. Okay, so for our sushi, and I think you guys probably know the recipe now for everything. You're gonna have fresh ingredients, start with the sauce, pile with your driest, and end with your driest. Now, in this case, we're not using a liquid, so we can just kind of have fun and do what we want. All right, let me take these lids off. Okay, so the ingredients, we are going to use some shredded carrots. Now remember, make this your own. You can absolutely make this your own, but I chose some shredded carrots that I shredded this morning. Again, I have some roasted sweet potato. That's gonna give it that nice mouthfeel. I have some cucumbers. I have some red bell peppers again. And I have some short grain organic brown rice that has a little bit of the rice vinegar on it, unseasoned. That's going to give it a good flavor. And then I have nori sheets. Okay. And if you've eaten sushi, you know that this is the part that what your sushi is basically rolled in. That's what this is. Okay. And
there's a question about how long the jars keep. Does it depend on what's in them, or is it still pretty much 3-4 days for every single recipe?
It depends on what's in them. I really wouldn't go past 5, honestly. I haven't gone past 5, so I would stay 3 to 5. Yeah, keep an eye on it. Okay. All right, so this one we get to have fun with, and we're just gonna start off actually with our rice. Okay, this is our brown rice with the rice vinegar in it. You know, and this is even a fun idea if you want to do something with kids, even in the kitchen. It's you know, I think it's a family friendly cook in the kitchen type of project. All right, so when you put your rice in, kind of want to get in there and maybe kind of press it down a little bit. Again, you can use as much rice as you want. If you want a lot, add more. And add just a tad bit more. But I hope you can see how things are a little bit easier if you use the funnel. Sometimes I'm just a messy cook, so it doesn't really matter.
Question from Jerry: is there a store-bought salsa you could recommend when too lazy to make your own?
Ooh, store-bought. I'm a big Trader Joe's fan. I hope you have a Trader Joe's in your city because they do a great job. That's a brand I would recommend. I can't remember the other one at Whole Foods. Oh, if it comes to me, I'll bring it back up. But there's one that I'm thinking about at Whole Foods as well. Okay, so I think that's it for the rice. All right, and so now we can just kind of have fun. Now, these are your nori sheets. So you can do a couple of things with this. You can layer it in between, or you can just top it at the end of your sushi. So it's kind of up to you. I'm just going to place one in there. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do now is put in our red bell peppers. Okay. And then we have to have some cucumber, which that's delicious. It's funny, the fruits and veggies I snack on now, especially vegetables that I snack on now that I never thought I would ever snack on if I hadn't transitioned. It's just a new world. I'm still in shock. So, okay. And again, here's our sweet potato. Like that. All right. I might put another little nori sheet in there. Again, there's no wrong way to do this for this particular recipe. And then I'm going to put in just some carrots because you gotta have carrots.
Do you have a system though for getting the stuff chopped up? Because that's probably what takes a little bit of time.
I have a chopper. I used to hand chop it, but yes, that would take a little bit more time than I was interested in. So I have a chopper. So that makes things go much, much quicker. And I think I got it from maybe Bed Bath Beyond. They have some really good, they have a really good one there. And so it saves a lot of time. So if you're going to do this, you know, unless you just like to chop and you have time, that's a great thing. If not, invest in a chopper, rinse all of your veggies and just, you know, lay them out and get to chopping. It just makes it that much easier. So this is our sushi in a jar.
Yum. Yum.
That is it. You guys have made 3 meals, 3 mason jar meals.
I mean, that could be like a whole day's worth of food.
It is. You have a lot of fun with it, and it is very fulfilling. You can make it as heavy or as light as you want, but you know, it's just a spin on, you know, doing something different with your food and you know, kind of breaks the monotony of things.
Right. AJ's asking if the recipe could be put in the show note. They are there, guys. Maybe refresh your screen. They're not there at the beginning because sometimes I have to worry about how many characters and get them to fit, but they should be there now if you check. Hey, why not write a book, a jar book?
That's funny. It's on my list of things to do. It is my goal to do a cookbook one day, and these are on my mind a lot. Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be great. It would definitely be beautiful.
Wow. Well, that is on my list. It's going to happen.
I mean, you could make every meal a jar, really, like lasagna, dessert. I mean, you could be like the jar queen.
You really can. If you can put it on your plate, most likely you can make it work in a mason jar. It really is that simple. It really is.
I think it's fantastic. And it's not that we portion control on this diet, but it's just kind of nice to be able to just grab and go.
Yeah, it is. It's easy. I mean, it carries well. You can refrigerate it. I mean, it's an easy grab.
Yeah. Did you notice any health benefits for you or your children were young, so probably not for them, maybe so much for you or your husband when you switched your diet?
Oh man, so many for me, so many. I mean, I could sleep better, less brain fog, had a lot of energy. I really felt good, not feeling so sluggish after I would eat a meal. And it's funny because I didn't realize how sluggish my body was after I would eat, right? When I was eating the standard American diet until I stopped eating it and felt wonderful after each meal. I didn't have any regret. There's no fatigue. I didn't have to go to sleep and just groggy. That was key for me. And then I became more energetic. I ran my first 5K because I hated running. I never liked running, but I ran my first 5K after I transitioned, maybe a year after I transitioned. And so now I love doing 5Ks, but it just gives you a new life, honestly, in my opinion.
Wow, that's fantastic. What do you exercise every day?
I do. I love to do a boot camp, and that makes a difference as well. So if you can keep your body moving and fuel it with the right food, it's a good lifestyle.
That is so cool. Let's see.
Yeah.
Randy wants to know, she missed the ages of your kids. They're 11 and 17 now, I believe. Do they take their lunch to school? She wants to know.
Yeah, they're 15 and 17. Yes, they take their lunch to school.
Oh, 15 and 17. Sorry about that. And that's like high school almost, or at least for one of them, right? Or maybe both.
Oh, yeah. A freshman and a junior. So that's a lot of fun.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh, Alyssa wants to know, what size jars are these mason jars? Are they 32 ounces?
They are 32 ounces.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Liz, here's a nice comment from AJ, not me, but I would say the same thing. Tiffany just glows with health and beauty. Do you have any health or beauty secrets? Like beauty,
Wow.
skincare, hair care, any of that?
Wow.
Makeup?
Thank you for that comment. No, I really don't. I just, I feel really good just eating plants. And that's another thing. I will say that I had a better skin experience after I gave up the sodas and the sugar and all of those things. And yeah, that would be one beauty tip, I guess, that I experienced. But no, I just love the plants, and it gives you good sleep, and it makes you move, and all that just kind of works together. And there you go.
Lakeisha says, what are your favorite foods to make?
Ooh, I love a good Buddha bowl. So that's probably my favorite. Now, salads I have to have every day. I love a good salad. Second, if I'm not doing a salad, which is kind of the same, is the Buddha bowl. After that, I love, I do love, what did you call it? Spaghetti squash. That's my big deal. That's one of the things that I loved a lot when I was still in the standard American diet, like a lot of spaghetti and pasta type of things. And so I like to play around with the spaghetti squash and see what I can do and make a lot of Italian meals. So, cool. But Buddha bowls would be my favorite.
Yep. And there's a question from Elisa. What do your teenagers eat for snacks?
We always have fruit around. The house is never without fruit. We'll do fruit. We'll do, they actually like to snack on cherry tomatoes, if you can believe that. Those are really, really sweet. And my taste buds didn't realize how sweet they were until after I transitioned. But they'll do fruit. They'll do veggies. We do hummus. They love a good hummus. They can make their own hummus. Bananas, grapes, things like that. But they love hummus and veggies the most to snack on.
Nice. And this is a question almost every guest gets, and it is from Janet. What does Tiffany eat in a day?
Good question, Janet. So in the morning, I'm not a big breakfast person. If I do, I might eat a little bit of oatmeal. Some days I start my meals with veggies for breakfast. Somebody I know said that. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I always have a big salad. Every day for lunch, I have a salad. That's just, that's non-negotiable. And so it just kind of depends on what kind of salad I whip up. And then for dinner, I'll probably have like a soup and maybe a potato. And that's my day. And I drink a lot of water.
Nice. People, if somebody's asking, I'm trying to get who asked it. I saw a question. Here it is. Layla wants to know if you drink coffee, and someone else asked if you drank alcohol.
Not really on the alcohol, but with the coffee, yes, but I do the Dandy blend. I like that. So I was trying to give up the other coffee that I was drinking. So, but I do love a little bit of coffee in Dandy. I'm pretty pleased with.
Yeah. There's a brand called Say Me that's made out of only one ingredient, organic brown rice.
Oh,
and it's
how do you spell that?
SEI. When I email you the thing we talked about before, I'll email you that, because I tasted it. I don't drink coffee as a hot beverage, but I have one recipe where I'm trying to get a coffee flavor in a date shake, and it worked out really, really well. And it's just organic brown rice. I would Dandy blend it. The company says there's no gluten, but it's got barley in it, and I get a tummy ache when I drink it, but it's delicious. It tastes very, very good, but I guess I'm just really, really sensitive. There is a question I saw.
Yeah, I'd love that coffee name.
Yeah, I'll get it for you, I promise. Let's see. But we already answered exercise. That was boot camp. Oh, here it was. If Randy asked, do your kids help you chop up the veggies?
I have a chopper, so not really, not too much. They love the assembling part, but I kind of do the chopping. I'm still kind of protective over sharp and cutting things, even though they're 15 and 17. But they love the assembly part of when we cook.
Now that's so cool. You know, it's almost like you could have a jar party, like, and invite all the neighbors, have everybody bring the jars, have some people bring one of these ingredients and just kind of assemble them. I think a lady actually talked about that on my show. Maybe it was Plant-Based Dallas, but somebody did that with a group.
I was about to say, Diane is a plant buddy of mine. And so, yes, so she'll host these at her house. I've been to her house and she's super sweet, she and her husband. And so, yes, you sign up to like bring whatever veggie, like let's say I'm going to do cucumbers. And so we normally bring like 9 jars, 9 or 12, can't remember, 9 jars of whatever veggie that you signed up to bring, and then you swap. And so you come home with all of these jars with a variety of veggies. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Thank you, Misty, for the super chat donation. She says, I really enjoy Tiffany on Instagram. Thank you for bringing amazing guests. You're very, very welcome.
Wow, thank you.
Pleasure. Let's see if there's any other questions not from you. Well, yeah, you submitted the questions. Oh yeah, here's one from Diane. Oh yeah, I know the answer to this. And I actually asked her if she would do it at the end of the show. Do you have any pets?
I do. And he's probably the most spoiled person in the house. So his name is Mr. Coco. We rescued him when he was itty bitty. He was found under a house and all this other stuff. And so someone found him and took him to where we bought him, where we adopted him from, rescued from. And he's a sweetheart. I call him my third baby because he gets away with everything. And so his name is Mr. Coco. He is half rat terrier and half Dachshund. So let's see if we can bring him out. He's been quiet, so he might get a treat. Sweetheart, can you bring Coco? His name is, Mr. Coco.
Is it K-O-K-O or C-O-C-O?
C-O-C-O-A.
Oh, C-O-C-O-A, excuse me.
Yeah, like hot cocoa. It's my little boy named him, and and it's funny, we got him in September. And so we were like, well, what are we going to name our little puppy? He's like, well, it's almost Christmas. We'll name him Coco, although, it was in August. But anyway, Mr. Coco has, he's warmed our hearts. And oh, here he is. He is such a big baby. Hi, baby. Let's see. Oh, Hi, baby. Hi. This is Mr. Coco, and he gets away with everything, and we love him a lot.
Well,
So
he sure
he's
loves
my
you.
third baby.
He's adorable and he sure loves you.
He's getting heavy. He's a big, heavy baby. So here you
Oh,
correct.
he is precious. Hey, Tracy wants to know if you take any supplements and if you make anything special for your kids when they're sick.
I do ginger and turmeric. So I will take some ginger, some fresh ginger, and I'll take some fresh turmeric and I blend it in a blender or a food processor. And I give them that if I feel like they're fighting a cold or something's going on. And so we'll do like a teaspoon or tablespoon of that a day. And so that works for us. We do a lot of herbal teas. I love teas. And other than just vitamin D and B12, that's pretty much what we do, that I do. And then the kiddos have their special vitamins as well. So that's pretty much it.
What do you do for fun?
Oh, I love riding my bike. It gets a little bit harder when the weather's not right, but I love riding my bike. That's probably the one childhood thing I never let go of. And so it's funny, well, not this year, last year, I have this really cool bike. And so I wanted a basket to go on it. So I was so happy when I got a basket for my bike. But that's my favorite thing to do. It's being outside, and, you know, it's just something that, it's just a fond memory that I have as a kiddo. And I just kind of like to keep that going.
Very nice. Do you watch
Yeah.
any fun things on Netflix or anything like that?
Netflix, not really. My kids keep trying to make me watch Netflix. You know, I'm really an HGTV, do it yourself type of person. And so I love it, or, you know, a lot of shows on HGTV I like. That's kind of my alley. It used to be Food Network, but I kind of switched from there. So, but any kind of do it yourself, fixer upper shows is what I really, really love.
Wow. Well, you could have a jar show.
You're giving me ideas. I can do that.
Why not? Well, this has been so much fun. I mean, they just look so beautiful. I just, like when you think about it, like at the airport, wouldn't it be cool if that's what you could grab just before you get on the plane?
I wish there were better options. This would be easy. I mean, it's just keep it refrigerated. It's super simple. So maybe one day.
The only question is, which one do we eat first?
Right. Well, I have a little bit of everything. Just open them all at once.
Nice. Well, you guys are going to have a great lunch. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. And I thank you for having me, and thank you for this platform, because you are changing hundreds and thousands of lives. I know for a fact.
Oh, thank you. Well, guys, sign up for her next class. I bet I mean, obviously you're a great presenter, so I'm sure it's going to be a fun class. How many sessions is the class?
It's 5 classes, 5 sessions, 5 Sundays.
Nice. Oh, Sunday's a great day to eat healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you meal prepped and ready for the week to come.
Does Mr. Coco get his food prepped in jars?
He does not. He is pampered enough. So no, he doesn't get to do the jar thing, but he gets away with everything else. That's for sure.
That is hilarious. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you, Chef AJ. Thank you for what you do.
My pleasure. And thanks to all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back at 2 p.m. today. We have a bonus show with Brian Vaisley, who hosts the Art of Anti-Aging Summit that I'll be on with Dr. Furman and Dr. Will B. So you won't want to miss that show. Take care, Tiffany.